Hello people, I'm going to try and crack one more of these devotions while we are down here at the beach. You know, we're looking at the book of James, so we're looking at the character of Elisha, and Elisha gives us some great examples of life skills and how to live this life in a godly kind of a way. We've spoken about what it means not to mess it up, or the consequences that come when we do mess it up. Again, I say to you, I'm so glad we have a redemptive God. There's nothing that you have messed up in that God is not able to help you to restore. In fact, sometimes at the end of the restoration, it can be better than it was before. That's uncanny. That's incredible. But that's the nature of who God is. But it doesn't give us license to mess up without us talking about this today. I'm going to talk about one last one. And I think this is the one that Elisha points us to. Don't mess it up at the point of staying where you are. Now, in the story, Elisha followed Elijah. And Elijah came to him a number of times and said, Elisha, hey man, this call that I've given to you to come follow me, it's too hard. I think you just need to stay here. I'm just going to go over to Jericho. You just stay here. And Elisha knew that this was not going to happen. He said, hey, Elijah, I'm not going to let you out of my sight. Time after time, Elijah came and he said to Elisha, just stay here. Just stay here, Elisha. Just stay still. Contemplate where you're at. And then I'll maybe see you later. But Elisha said, Elijah, you know I'm not going to leave you. You know I'm not going to stay here when you go there. Because I know that the promise you made to me about the second blessing of extra power, the double portion of your spirit, is dependent on me watching you continually. And I'm not staying here. Now, there's a lesson there, I do believe, folk, for each one of us. The temptation in our Christian lives is just to stand still. Sometimes it's good to stand still and watch what God will do on our behalf. But those are exceptional cases. They're beautiful, though, and they need to apply. But we never stay where we are. If you're not growing in your Christian life, you know what, people? Chances are you're probably going backwards. You've got to keep moving. Sometimes it's hard because, as we said, like Moses in the wilderness, it was dry and it was dusty, and every now and then there was a beautiful highlight, and he went up Mount Sinai and met God, and there was great things happening. But most of the time of his life, he was just walking, he was just plodding. If it was like that for Moses, probably going to be like that for us as well. Don't stop moving, which simply means that we keep our Christian disciplines going. When we don't feel like it, we still pray. When we don't feel like reading the Bible, we still read the Bible. When we don't feel like going to fellowship at church because somebody didn't acknowledge me in the supermarket, we still go to church and we worship God corporately. We do these things because this is all the part and the process of keep on moving. So when things come into your life that tempt you to say, well, let me just stand still. Let me just lick my wounds for a little while. Let me just ponder life. I say to you, be very careful. If you're doing that because God is saying we need to draw closer together, spend more time together in devotion and prayer, hey, amen, amen. But by human nature, we tend to think, well, I'm a little disappointed, I'm a little disillusioned, I'll just stay here a while. Tragedy is that a while can become a long time. And you know what, that happened to you. So I hope that you'll think about this one today. Keep moving. Keep those spiritual disciplines going. And watch what God does. Always at the end, it turns out to your good and for His glory. Have a great day. Bye-bye.